Welcome to Ginger Media channel. This is a channel where we explore the truth behind the headlines you read every single day. Oduduwa groups, right? Sultan of Sokoto. Finally, the people of Oduduwa, the Yoruba race in Nigeria, appears to be waking up from their deep slumber. They appear to now know that all is not well with the Yoruba land. Before now, everybody have been wondering if the Yorubas were all sleeping. But as it appears, we only say emphasis appears. It appears the Yorubas are trying to wake up now. And if they are waking up now, the rest of us, Southern Nigerians, will say, "Good morning, the Yoruba Nation." They've written an open letter to the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Abubakar Said, and the Fulani leaders. And the letter they wrote reads, they said, the Sultan of Sokoto and the Fulani leaders, His Eminence Alhaji Abubakar Said, the state of the nation. The Yoruba Nation writes this letter to you, considering your importance as the head of the Fulani people in Nigeria. You are also the head of the Fulani Muslims in Nigeria. It is also our hope that you will be able to share the thoughts expressed here with the 7 million Fulanis. Chineke. So the Fulanis are only 7 million out of over 200 million we have in Nigeria. And they appear to be the supreme. Let's continue. In their letter, we write to honor you with this letter, given the floundering opportunities for a dialogue on the future of Nigeria, which has eluded the various ethnic groups in Nigeria and which may not enhance it too soon. Given the drumbeats of armed violence and extremism perpetrated largely by your people and the fleeting prospect of national dialogue, we hope this letter will not be the last opportunity to constructively engage you and the Fulani nation. We, on behalf of the Apopo Odua Koya, which they call in short Aokoya, a coalition of several Ishekiris, Edo, and the Yoruba groups, write with deepest feelings about the Nigerian state and what appears to be the pitfall that lay ahead. Most of which are oiled and orchestrated by your own people, the Fulani, albeit consciously. Now, if we interpret, it means the Fulanis have been consciously doing this according to the Yoruba groups. Now they want to take us back to history lane. They said, the past. There was no history of Fulani in Nigerian territory until 1804. This was about 800 years after the Yoruba kingdom had been established. 600 years after the Hausa TV, Igala, Ijo, Jukun kingdom had flourished. The Igbo nation had existed for centuries before your people wandered into this hemisphere. We call that your forebearers, your forebearers came to power through brutal and bloody conquest of indigenous people in many parts of Nigeria under the guise of Islam, even though Islam had taken firm roots in Yoruba land, Kano and Bonu empires as early as the 11th century. Since your sojourn in Nigeria, you have been very lucky indeed. A whole country of over 300 ethnic groups was handed over to you, pro bono, free of charge, to you, the Fulanis, as foreigners. First, through conquest of some of its parts. You who never owned an inch of land, centuries before now in this hemisphere, you have reaped the fruit, which trees you did not plant, and you knew nothing, and you knew not when they were planted. More so, you were from a family of wanderers, that is, the Marudas, and your emergence as emir and traditional rulers was unusual, very unusual, and the media channel must add, having no royal blood in your veins ab initio. No doubt, you succeeded in taking over the land, the main means of production of these innocent people, whose main offense was that they were too caring, too gentle, too subservient, and too accommodating of foreigners in their own ancestral homeland. Today, you sit on the throne, soaked with the blood of millions of innocent souls, anguished with deafening ears to the agony of spirit of millions of victims of the horrendous killing by your men who came from Futajalong in Senegal only just some 210 years ago. The British left in 1960, and you emerged as the main benefactor, even though your people were not known to have fought for the independence. If you remember, in Ginger Media, I want to ask, who were those that fought for independence? If you remember, Elder Pa, late Anthony Nahoro, was the person that moved the motion for this nation called Nigeria to be an independent nation. And even the same North and the Fulanis said that they weren't ready. Oh, God may not forgive the Zik and the Awolowo for not insisting that they would have taken back in 1956, that they would have been independent without the North. That would have saved us all this agony and pain that we go through today. But be that as it may, let us continue. You were wise enough to plant your people in the security institution, a reflection of your preference for force and bring bandage instead of knowledge-driven society. Through direct military intervention or subterfuge, slight plots, you have been ruling Nigeria or determining who rules Nigeria since 1960. This is a rare luck that only courageous people can manage for some time, but needs wise, intelligent, decent, and conscious people to manage for a millennium. Under the false artificial creation called Nigeria, your people produce no oil. Yet, you appropriate and decide how the resources should be expended. You have no access to the sea, yet you decide which goods should be imported, which vessel should play this route that indigenous owners of this God-given ocean have been using for centuries. Oh, the Yoruba Nation, cry no more. Do you know that the Yoruba Nation houses the ports that people use in Nigeria? Conspicuously, and through conspiracy, the ports in the eastern region has been made not to function. The sad part is, since the inception of Nigeria from 1960 to date, every controller general of the Nigerian custom has always come from the north. The Yoruba Nation that has the Apapa Wharf, that has the Tinkan Island Wharf, has never produced a controller general of the Nigerian customs. How come? Is that a mere coincidence? Why are they controlling this and the Yorubas appear to be sleeping? Again, let us continue. All the military weapons were bought not by your money, but you decide who should use them and who should be killed by the same weapons. You have no rich scholarly tradition, yet your people sit on the Nigerian University Commission (NUC) and decide the fate of other Nigerians. Oh, this brings me to the one that even wants to make people cry. If you remember, to enter a unity school, you have to have 139 if you're from Anambra, 137 if you're from Imo State, 127 if you're from Lagos State. But if you're from Yobe State, you need to have only two. Two, even if you're blind. And they were given an OBJ, multiple choice question, to choose. There is no way, even an idiot cannot choose two that will allow that person enter into a school that a child from Anambra will have to score minimum, not Anambra may be scoring 180, but a minimum of 139 and sit in the same class with a child that has just scored two. Do you know what that means? That equates to somebody who is supposed to be doing his PhD, sitting with somebody who is not qualified to be in the kindergarten. Let us proceed. You located all the military institutions in your land more out of fear than out of love for justice and fair play. 90% of Nigerian resources are sourced from the south, middle belt, yet you decide how the fund should be spent. Did you think this irresponsible way of life will continue forever? The Yorubas are now asking. Well, I wish the Tinubus would equally join them, the Bisiakandes would equally join them in asking these questions. Did your people think we are foolish? Well, now maybe your foolishness is not enough yet. You are waking up. Let's continue. And even if we are, did you think coming generations will accept this brazen exploitation? Yes, I think the new generation will not, because that is what the new generation is calling to change. That if these things will not change, then let's kiss Nigeria goodbye. We have called for dialogue on these issues, but you call it treason. This comes to mind. Suddenly, Shewere calls for revolution now, and what happens? Yewa, Shewere is being yanked in prison. Ewo, what is happening in Nigeria? The truth is that you have grossly mismanaged this opportunity. Your ruinous and destructive tradition has rocked on all Nigerians. Your institution for aggression has become a national culture. Your disdain for debate and logical criticism has been imbibed by Nigerians who continue to gravitate towards the custodian of political power, whose way of life must be imbibed for recognition. You have ruined and destroyed this whole nation at your beckon due to your exclusive, narrow, primordial, and salvage instinct driven by only your self-interest and your brutal and non-negotiable desire to conquer and to subdue every nationality in Nigeria. This is a tall task which you are hell-bent in executing. Oh, the Yorubas, we will say good morning. And they continue. This is now, they've given us the history of the past. They want to now come in the present. They say the invasion of Yoruba by Fulani headsman. Well, we like to caution you on your latest antics to renew your grand 1904 design to conquer the entire country. Now, they want to tell us that they are planning to conquer the whole nation. Not through ideas, but through most savage tradition of killing and maiming. This, for us, is at the bottom of current Fulani kidnapping in Yoruba land. We wish to inform you that we are aware of your grand plan to renew a project done halfway, put on mute mode since the defeat of your force in 1840 by the Yoruba army. Yes, the Yoruba army defeated them, but what happened to Kwara? You know how they tricked Afonja and how eventually the Kwara kingdom was taken away from. How can Kwara, that is the Yoruba nation, be ruled by anemia? Well, the Yoruba, you are waking up small, but you are not entirely awake. So we want you to be awake and fully with your two eyes open, be awake entirely. Now, the Yoruba continues. We are worried that you and your Fulani people have been suspiciously silent on the kidnapping of Yoruba people, the killing of the young professionals, including the killing of daughter of a prominent Yoruba leader. We were not surprised that you and your Fulani leaders did not consider it necessary to send condolence messages or even visit the families of the slain woman. This can only mean your tacit approval or at least a philosophy of cold compromise. Please be aware that in the past 2 years, record shows that 689 Yoruba people have been kidnapped by your people. So they are already keeping a report. Thank God that they have a database where these things are being kept. Now they continue. Fulani is about kidnapped by your people. Fulani, about 400 reported cases of rape, including rape of toddlers. Of the same number of the kidnapped, 356 were women, and out of that number, 250 were married women. In all, 112 people were killed by your Fulani people, either for resisting kidnap or for failing to pay ransom. This means nothing to you, but to us it means a lot. Help the Yoruba, please take over, and take charge of your land. The forests in Yoruba land are yours. Nothing stops you to comb the forest. Rid them of anybody who is trying to invade your land. You are not calling for insurrection. You're just protecting yourself. And they continue. We urge you to imagine a group of armed Yoruba cocoa farmers storming forest in Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, or Sokoto, kidnapping Fulani people, raping their young girls, and even killing the daughters of an emir or a prominent Yoruba leader. Can you also imagine the same heavily armed Yoruba cocoa farmers occupying your forest, stopping your people from farming and preventing your people from using the highway in their ancestral homeland? Is a question. They are asking the Sultan and the entire Fulani nation. To make the matters worse, imagine the armed Yoruba cocoa farmers carry out these terrible crimes under the banner of a Yoruba man and as a Nigerian president. Oh, that is where I will give Yoruba as the credit. Remember when Obasanjo was the president of this nation called Nigeria? The OPC and a Yoruba group was misbehaving in Nigeria, and Obasanjo angrily gave the Nigerian army that is not only enough to arrest the OPC people, but anybody who identifies himself as OPC shall be shot at sight if that person resists arrest. That is what is called a president, a man that takes decision to prove that he's not behind those that is doing the nation a grave injustice. Yoruba man as Nigerian president, how will you feel? As it is, your people, the Fulani people, are digging their hands down our throats. What are they looking in the throats of the Yorubas? They are entering our bedrooms and sleeping with our mothers and wives. These actions are not only against Islam, they are against humanity. These last actions, plus our experiences in the past, have combined to renew are combined to renew our energy of millions of Yorubas who want a country of their own. Either you like it or not, this will happen. God, before whom you and your big crown are like but a filthy rag, will make it happen. We pray it happens. We pray Yoruba is ever taken serious. We urge you to prepare yourself to dialogue, or if you choose the path of violence, there will be proportional response. Having Yorubas or Igbo Republic is something you do not wish to hear, but this is eminent and inevitable, and therefore we say amen, and we say, please be aware, they continue, that the Yoruba do not begrudge your value and the way of your living. All we are saying is that we want to live our life, design our political and cultural architecture, live and die on our own terms. The forthcoming Yoruba Republic will be glad to accommodate righteous Fulani people who respect our civilizations and the laws of our fatherland. We wish to use the opportunity to advise you and your people to be aware that you have no power to conquer Yoruba Nation. Your forebearers tried and failed. Your military and political surrogates tried, marked the killing, maiming, and destruction of our economy, yet they failed. We ask you to instruct your people, the armed Fulani herdsmen, to withdraw from Yoruba territory on their own, and mop up the caches of ammunition stored in Yoruba territory. Sir, finally, the Yoruba people stand for peace and not for war. We would prefer these ideas to be resolved amicably without firing any shots. But we wish to say that if your heart remains rebellious and your soul defiant, the Yoruba people are not afraid to confront you once again in the way we did 175 years ago. This time in the most ferocious manner you can ever imagine. It is unnecessary to let you know this, even though we are aware that you will not change the conquest desire of your heart. We, the Yoruba Nation, wish you a happy Salah, Allah's wisdom to know and do what is right. Yours sincerely, signed by Colonel Abimbola Sowumi, retired. Malam Saliu Ahmed Okorade for Apapo Odua Akoya, the Yoruba Self-Determination Group. Injinja Media will say, again, we wish to support what the Yorubas are saying. This is what Injinja Media has been calling and being in the forefront to say, that this nation has expired since 2014. When the nation became 100 years, from 1914 that this nation was amalgamated and 2014 made it 100 years, is an expired product. Therefore, the media is calling that each region should be a country of their own. Let the Yorubas be a nation of their own. Let the eastern region that comprises the southeast and the south-south be a nation of their own. Let the north, if they want, be a nation of their own, and let the middle belt be a nation of their own. If the people agree to have common currency, common military defense, they can come together and form a confederation. If not, any of these entities can still act as a nation. After all, Luxembourg is not up to how many thousand, yet they are recognized as a nation. There are so many small nations in Africa, and they are doing much, much better. We look at Rwanda, a small nation that is not even up to a state in Nigeria, but is being respected better in the world that Nigeria is. So it is time that we support the Yorubas if they would ever be serious, with a big caveat there, if they will ever be serious. We call on everybody to support the Yoruba nations to drive this agenda that everyone will have peace and have peace at last. This is Njenje Media Channel. Subscribe to the channel where we explore the truth behind the headlines you read every day, and where we'll make excellent analysis and give you the information you do not see on the mainstream media. Njenje Media Channel, once more, remain blessed and click on the bell icon in order to subscribe, and when we upload new videos like this, you'll be notified.